Okay, well, hello, Ambassacast family. Um, it's Bailey, your loyal host, and Ethan and Marco, and we're going to talk about picking a major, but not only how we picked it, what advice we have, and then what it's been like, because we now have at least 1 to 2 years under our belt at Biola in our perspective major. So we're just going to share about that because May 1st is quickly approaching, guys, and we want you guys to feel ready. And also, even if you go in undeclared, that's actually pretty common, and kind of give our tips and tricks on how that works. But our first question is going to be, how did you pick your major? I know it's a really common question we get asked, but I also think it's really good, and I want to give a space to kind of continue to share that story. And I'm going to be honest, for me, I feel like everyone's like a little goes an untraditional route, and I love that. But for me, I only applied for film. I also should have said my major. I'm a cinema and media arts major with a minor in business administration. I'll get into that. But I didn't apply for anything other than film. It wasn't like I had to, for secondary, I think I put communications or like media. Like I don't even know what I put, because for me, film was it. I stole my sister's old camera my sophomore year of high school, and it became my camera. And yeah, and that kind of, I feel like it's, I'll make a long story short. Started filming weddings in high school, and I fell in love with it. Just like, and knowing that there was this thing called film school that I could go to and like learn how to be better at it, and it's super cool. I actually just finished editing a wedding last night, and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool, kind of seeing like pre-film school versus post-film school, and how little things like that make a huge difference. But really, that's how I picked it, because it just kind of made sense. I wanted to make movies, and I wanted to be behind the camera instead of in front of it, and that was really it. Like, I don't know, it's a love story, me and movies and film, that is never ending. But that is how I picked my major. But now Ethan is going to share about how he picked his major.
Yeah, so my original major, I'm lucky enough to have a bit of a different perspective on picking majors. I was a CMA major and now I'm a math major with a concentration in computer science. I know it's a crazy jump, but I also applied to Biola really only for the CMA program. That's the main reason that I wanted to come to Biola, because I knew it was really good and it's definitely going places, awesome places, and it's so exciting to see that. But I chose CMA originally because I've done film classes and stuff like that all throughout high school, and I just love it so much, and it's so much fun. I still do video stuff. I really enjoy doing it, and it's definitely a passion of mine. But I it the CMA wasn't exactly for me, I found out, which is okay when you get into a major. That's part of being in college, and especially your first year, semester and a half, something like that. It's really okay to switch majors, which is an awesome thing about being in college. You can switch, um, and it doesn't mess things up too much. So I did switch into math and computer science, but it took me a while to figure out that that might be where I wanted to go. I I had did my own research. I looked at like every single major and concentration that Biola offered all throughout their pages and everything, and the classes that you could take. And I also asked other friends to speak into that experience and trying to figure out what it is and allow them to say what they might think that I would be good in. And then I settled on math. So yeah, that's where we are now. I'll pass it off to Marco.
Yeah, that's cool. My story is similar to Bailey's. I also kind of started like putting my foot with like video and kind of like meeting in high school. Um, and then after that, we took during my TV and film class in high school, we took a tour to Chapman University, who is one of the top film schools in California. Yeah, like top six, top five, something like that. And after that, I kind of decided, I was like, okay, cool. Like when I go to college, this is what I'm choosing. Um, so when it was my time to transfer from community college, I was set on transferring to a film school, to just an institution who had film as a major. Yeah. And I did settle for Chapman. I was stubborn about Chapman, but then I guess God works in, mysterious ways, and he placed me in Biola. I think maybe Chapman is maybe a plan for the future or another thing, because I do plan to go to graduate school. So I am very settled with this major and just how we picked it. And I think growing that passion, as long as you grow a passion on something, you will have open doors to just anything, even if it's not a Biola, or whatever other school that God opens for you. Just know that you continue to do kingdom work, no matter where you're placed at, and just remember that what major you choose is passion. It's your passion too, but the other part should also be how do you serve the Lord in that, and how do you plan to continue to do that in your future years. So that's a little bit of some advice and something that I have definitely reflected upon, something that I've been given wisdom on, and I'm very happy to be passing on to you guys in this form. So yeah.
I love that. And I think we all kind of shared a lot just about like what we were passionate about, and also like kind of hearing from friends, because I didn't know film school was a thing until like I think a guidance counselor told me or something. And I also wanted to add, like, yes, film is very art related and that is super fun, but also can be really draining. And I think I'm someone who also values organization. So I always tell you guys, as prospective students, you can even get a minor too. I came in with a lot of credits from AP and I was like, okay, I was potentially going to do 2.5 years of college and I was going to be get it done. Then I got here and I was like, I don't want to leave. So I added a minor and took a couple semesters of lighter units. Here I am. Thanks, mom and dad. But like for me, I also think you can totally balance it out, which actually is a great segue into the next question, which is what advice do we have for people who have no clue what their major should be? Maybe they are filling out the application and it's like, nope, nothing. And I have a lot of my friends came in undeclared actually at Biola or just anywhere in general. And I think that's actually super common and kind of provides a unique opportunity, because then your freshman year will be full of a lot of great GE classes, general education classes, and various things. And it's great because you kind of get a little taste of everything. So that's one way to do it. But I think the question like, oh, what's your major? I know I experienced that so much of junior and especially senior year. Like, come on, I think we all relate. Like, I was like, if someone asked me that one more time, I'm gonna lose it. But I think for me, what's helpful, what I always share is that what are you passionate about? Like, I think I know Marco and I touched on, like, and Ethan also said, like, in high school, what were you interested in? Because that can translate really well. I started getting into video because I was on student government and did media, and that transitioned to that. So I would say, what do you value? Like, what are you passionate about? Because that really helps. Are you passionate about people? Are you passionate about arts? Like, what I think that is more of a way I would say is, what are you passionate about? Like, what makes you happy? Um, I know a lot of people would say like, "Oh, I really love people and like coffee shop environments and just like getting why are they the way they are?" And so I have a lot of friends who then did sociology, or I want to be a therapist. Psychology words. But there's different routes, but I say look at what you were interested in, and a lot of what you do in high school can translate into college. Like, I was on student government and I represented my school, and now I get to do that in college. So that's my little tidbit, but I know Ethan will share his little mini TED talk now.
Yeah, that's really funny that you talk about graduating early, but then you want to stay longer. Because I feel that I'm graduating in 3 years, and I have chosen probably to do a master's at Biola so that I can stay longer because I don't want to leave. But yeah, I think it's definitely hard to choose a major. In my experience, when I was looking to switch majors, it was really difficult because um, I enjoy doing a lot of different things and I enjoy learning in general. And I'm not bad at, I could, in all realistic sense, I could probably have done just about any major that I wanted to and would have done just fine in it. And I would have enjoyed it as well. So when you have a lot of different interests and you're actually really good at whatever those interests are, it's there's so many options that it's really hard to choose um, just one, because then you feel like you're missing out on another one. So like I chose math, but I would have loved to be a psych major or a Bible major or something like that. And there's still parts of me that's like sometimes I wish that I had done that. But I think what it comes down to is when you're choosing your major and you have a lot of options, you I know we talked about it earlier, but really having other people speak into your life and really looking over your past experiences and maybe what you enjoy the most will help you decide on what your major should be. Because I know for me, I chose math mainly because I had a current interest in computer science, which is my concentration, but I really enjoyed calculus and my math classes in high school. Thankfully, that was due to some good teachers that gave me good math experiences. That's not always true for all of your math professors or all of your teachers in high school either. But I think what helped me was looking back at high school and saying, wow, these two math teachers that I had were really amazing and really helped me enjoy this topic. So if you can find things to connect to your past there to a possible major, I think that that's a good way to go. And don't forget, within the first semester, 2 semesters, maybe even 3 semesters, you always have the option to change out. So don't feel I felt way too much pressure because I wanted to graduate in 3 years. So the major that I had turn to, I had to like stick with. But most people aren't doing that, and you have a lot of options, which is pretty great. So, Marco, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, honestly, like it can be sort of a conflict when, you don't when you need to choose a major. I think it's just the pressure that a lot of people struggle with. And then especially how people think in the long term, like how am I gonna make a living out of this? Or like how is this gonna affect me financially in the future? I mean, we were never taught, how to live as adults. When we turn 18, we expect to know everything. So it's like, I think it's just how culture, or just culture pressures us to like have everything together by 18, or just like those external factors. I think we do give people like, yeah, like your passion, or what do you like the most? What do you do this? What do you do that? Sometimes people don't really make a choice, like when like make a major choice because of their passion, but it's because of those external factors that, oh, I chose this major because I'm going to be financially stable in the future, but they don't actually like it. So that's kind of like a cultural trap that maybe prospective students should kind of maybe sink in and kind of reflect about it, like, hey, you know what, I shouldn't worry about that. I should just pursue what I'm passionate about, pursue what I really like, and not listen to like other people that say that I have to get my life together, have my finance together, because once I graduate, like I have to have like a job, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I think that's just a lot of pressure that students, that prospective students like us that we used to be, feel, be like the pressure, and maybe family pressure, or maybe just because maybe they have to like be honoring a legacy, or they have to honor some sort of other family steps, um or just give like that impression, like, oh my, like I need to be like that daughter, or that son that is making an impact, or that's making a difference, or something like that. So there's a lot of external factors, and like, I mean, like to throw this out to you guys, like do not be discouraged about it, because I know a lot of people, when they want to choose art as a major, and then people are like, how are you gonna make a living out of that, or how are you gonna do this, how are you gonna do that? Don't feel pressured. If it's your passion, and you serve the Lord through that, like there's going to be a lot of open doors. And if you go through those open doors, and when as you're going through that, and the door closes, as you're maybe like you're halfway like through it, like it doesn't matter, because there's another open door, there's another door that you have to open. So um yeah, I think like overall, to sum it up, just don't feel pressured by the external factors, but make sure that you listen to God, and listen to and obey to the will and purpose that He has like for you. And everything is going to be in here and in here, and not outside um of what other people or what other things want to tell you. So don't let God's voice get lost on the other voices that are trying to scream at you.
I love that so much. And I think that's actually a great segue into the last question I have for us, which is how has your major changed you in your life? Like, once again, so Marco and I are juniors. I almost said seniors. Wow. Oopsie. And Ethan's a sophomore, but I think we can kind of speak into like how it has changed our life. And yeah, like my mom is a lawyer and my dad works in financing and airplanes. My sister is a teacher. I'm in art school. So like I love like those experiences. Um, and I think we've all kind of dealt with that in our own way. But I think how has my major changed my life? I think I thought I wanted to be on set the rest of my life, and I don't want that anymore. I love producing student films, and that's honestly something I miss so much these days. But I would say like it kind of helped me realize like, I love the more management side of things and more organization and Google Calendar. They know I'm obsessed with it. But like I've just realized like what I love and what I value, but I've also been so thankful to be pushed in so many ways. And like I've had to write scripts. I Writing is a huge insecurity for me just on the whole, but like I've been pushed to like write scripts at least one a semester, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but it pushes me so much and has allowed me to grow and like work how to work with people on a set. There's so many different positions, so many, and you learn how to do that. I just think I've grown so much, and like I owe so much to film school and just like keeping the creative juices flowing and challenging myself, like almost like writer's block but for filming. So it's like, what do you do when that happens? And I've just got to meet the coolest people and learn how to tell stories. I'm a huge book nerd, so it's like realizing I just love stories, and that's really what I want to do. So when people ask me what I want to do, I'm like, I just want to tell stories, and it's just been really cool, kind of experiencing that. So with almost 3 years down, I feel like I just love that I can like summarize my experience like that. But Ethan, I want to know, how has your major changed your life?
Yeah. So for me, there's been a number of different ways that it has changed my life. First of all, it has taught me humility, definitely. I have long considered myself a pretty intelligent person, not the most, obviously, but I feel like I'm pretty smart. But this being a math major has really challenged that and really shown me how much intellectual and personal growth I need to have. It has My ability to problem solve, however, has grown exponentially since having not only the math classes, but the computer science classes, which are very much problem solving based issues. And they're really hard, but I think that it's really helped me be a better problem solver and have a little bit of humility. But I also think that um, it's it's helped me let go of the essentially viewing grades as my god. I have also for a long time worked to get as good grades as I can get, but when you switch into a STEM major, uh, the grades tend to plummet a little bit, at least mine did, and they're struggling right now. But I think that I've given myself some grace because they're very hard classes, and I think it's okay that I don't have straight A's anymore. And I think that it's a healthier actually it's a healthier attitude towards grades. But that kind of ties into the last thing that it's helped me focus on is that the academic part of school isn't all that there is to life. And there's other parts of school that you can enjoy at the same time. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices for your social life for your academic life, or for your academic life for your social life. Yeah. So I just really think that I've had a healthier attitude towards school, and I've also been able to understand that my major and my schoolwork is in this area, and I can still have my social life and go out of my way to have fun without it encompassing everything that there is. So yeah. How about you, Marco?
Yeah. So again, I think mine's like similar to Bailey's, because of course as a CMA major, um, I think the way that it's kind of been changing kind of like my perspective is that I got the opportunity to kind of like experiment with like different areas. At first, I wanted to be a cinematographer, but then after process and like after learning about cameras, I was like, oh my god, like no, so um and like lighting and like all that, like trust me, like I love lighting, and I still like cameras, like I still love being behind and like kind of like operating and like stuff. But the way that I've been able to change that film perspective is when I got into post production, and then I was like, all right, cool. I like editing more, color grading, kind of just being like the final, kind of like the final painter of like the film or whatever analogy that people want to think of. But yeah, I think like it's been helping me a lot like that, and I think it hasn't only helped me but a lot of other people within the film community, because that's kind of like the advice that I give them. Like if you're a CMA prospective student, I kind of like dividing that, like, okay, like freshman through sophomore year, kind of like experiment, find what you're passionate about within like film. Like for me, like of course I was experimenting with cinematography. I didn't like it, and then I started experimenting a little bit more with editing, and then I took it more seriously like halfway through my sophomore year, and now that I'm in my junior year, now senior year, I'm taking it more seriously, going to seminars, putting my foot in the steps with projects and like all that. So definitely it's in a definitely a good assistance, and a way that it can also like just change your life, because you can be concentrating on one thing, you start doing it, but then you're like, okay, let me try this other thing. So I think that's just what's good about, I guess, not only film but also every other major that's offered.
Yeah, this has honestly been super great, and I love hearing about this because I think it's important. Yes, talk about how you got your major, but like, what does that mean and what does that look for you now? So, this has been super great. Moral of the story: you are not your major, you are not your grades. I'm saying that to myself right now because I'm very much identify the same way. But thank you guys for joining in on this conversation. It's been super fun. But we will catch you guys on the next episode of Ambassacast. Have a great week. Bye, guys.